Hi everyone and welcome to your tarot guidance for the week of April the 4th, 2022. Now, even before I begin, especially those people who listen to the horoscope know that this is a really unusual, very rare and deeply, how should I even say, surreal period for all of us, and this week and next week, or better said, all of the month of April is going to be a moment in our lives which is going to have a deeply and perhaps magical meaning for all of us, because this is so very deeply transformative on a soul level and on a deep psychological level, where it actually touches the nerve of the ego, the nerve of the very core of the identity, who we understand ourselves to be. And this is extremely transformative, as I said. For some people, this goes beyond the classical, the average Phoenix moment. This is way beyond just cycles naturally succeeding one another. This is even beyond when, a person triumphs over a major karmic obstacle in their life, or perhaps sometimes in all of their soul path. So something which might source from more than one incarnation and existence. So if this energy goes way beyond that, well, it does represent a miraculous element which is totally beyond our understanding. Now, naturally, we did have this very special alignment take place in 1850 something, 6 or something like that. And of course, even at that time, it did a lot of amazing things in the world, mystically, spiritually, magically speaking. Around that time, what we call today as the occult, that where perhaps timelines wash into one, because the occult is present, but it is also modern because it is developing itself just like any other branch of science, if you will, but its sources, it stems from the past, the distant past, and even a kind of past which no human was ever aware of that exists. So that is a very scorpionic and Piscean domain, and that around 1856, well, it was blooming, it was developing, it was growing, not even just growing, but actually bearing fruits, because those individuals who might have some, experience in this domain know that a lot of very important manifestations and techniques as well in the occult field were created, channeled, perfected, call it whatever you want, around that time. And it is definitely not going to be any less in 2022 either, 12th of April 2022. But this is where that 12th of April, it's not really a fixed date. It is not that day, but it is more like all of April, to be totally honest with you. But now, before that specific date, you see, we might be experiencing, feeling the deeply personal and highly karmically concentrated, if you will, side of this energy of, or this extraordinary gateway, where it is the divine source itself that opens itself for a very brief moment to all of us. But regardless of how we name this, this is where it's just very personal to us. There is a side to it, of course, which we can generalize, but another side, well, it just speaks to us and our soul, and maybe no one else. Maybe it is just very one-on-one connection where the other person, the other connector, so to speak, is no one else but the divine and the divine source alive through you, and the other one is, of course, you, but your awareness of it, your consciousness, so to speak. So this is a really important moment, and everyone who is at least a tiny little bit in tune with their own spirit or with the less seen, less dense side of the world is definitely going to benefit from this. Maybe the benefits are not pre this conjunction, so 12th of April, maybe not even right at around that time. Maybe for a lot of people, the beneficial side of this comes as Venus starts meeting the Jupiter and Neptune conjunction point and actually dances with the planets as well as she reaches exaltation. And Venus is the bestower of those blessings which we feel, the five senses, Taurus, or that which enlightens, that which overjoys our mental sphere, Libra, Venus in Libra, or that which overjoys and sends the spirit, the soul, into a blissful state, Venus in the sign of Pisces. So that is the more blissful, the more positive, the more joyful nuance that we can expect later on. But right now we are in pretty much deep water because the universe, the source, the spirit, of course your own unique and individual exception of it, is actually calling you. It is communicating, it is alive, it is active, it is showing you, and when I say you, it's all of us, every individual who's probably watching this. The source right now is heavily communicating, and what a very, very rare opportunity this is. And perhaps Mercury, being in the sign of Aries, is a great receptor to this energy, because the impulsivity of Aries, the headspace, doesn't give us time to react. It just gives us that opportunity that we need to embrace the divine information, the divine communication as it comes, and that is a blessing in itself. But anyway, long story short, let's take a look at what the cards might suggest that can take place this week in our lives, and mostly individually, because collectively maybe it is totally obsolete to look at the future. Collectively, we simply have to look out the window or simply step out of the house, and we're already part of it. We are already living it very, very deeply. So let's see now what the cards have to say. And I'll try to keep this much more divine guidance, because predictions are useless right now. Nothing can prepare us more than we are already prepared. But a good advice, guidance, a bit of inspiration, well, that can be much more helpful. So right now in this reading, of course with this special week, special occasion, let's just allow the universe to tell us whatever it wishes without naming a specific theme, a specific subject. If the divine source communicates anyway, let's just allow it to communicate. So let's see what it would like to show us. This is so beautiful. The Five of Pentacles reversed. Now the Five of Pentacles is a very, very strong representative of the year 2021, year of scarcity, strong material challenges. If money wasn't the problem, then health was the problem. If health wasn't the problem, then the psyche was the problem, solitude, loneliness. It didn't really matter who we were. Something that happened in 2021, something more collectively speaking, still got to us. So all of us in our own unique ways might have felt this Five of Coins energy, the material scarcity, being left out in the cold uncertainties, fearful of the future. Of course, you may say that, oh yes, but let me look at the figures. There are certain people whose profits grew and didn't feel this. Well, their poverty was in spirit, so they didn't. Someone who gains out of misery, like, and fear, and when people are really, really down, well, that loses spirit. It trades the spirit for that gain. So no one really was outside of this Five of Coins energy. So it reversed. That is the essence here. This is where the universe says the first hopes of spring, but in a symbolic sense, not a literal sense. Spring in a sense of where finally, after a cold winter, the first signs of life, of hope, the willingness to breathe freely are arising. This is where, like, I'm not 100% sure which bird brings the spring. I'm intuiting that it's the robin. If not, feel free to laugh at me. But there might be a saying in my culture that when you see the robin come, it's a really, really good sign, because chances are the spring is near. And the next card that popped out is the Knight of Wands reversed, and this is also a really brilliant sign. It isn't something very prophetic, so to speak, but what does it mean? The fire of aggression, the fire of war, the fire of injustice. The Knight in upright position, it conquers, especially the fire, Mars. And that is dying down as well. It is naturally what a beautiful expression this Knight is, because, we could see this playing out on the world stage literally by simply living, how day after day as the war progressed, Neptune and Jupiter, as they started getting closer to each other in the sky, they literally drowned the war. They just drowned. They drowned it in tears, they drowned it in alcohol, they drowned it in despair, they drowned it in protest, they drowned it in economic discrimination, but the drowning element was very, very visible. And now basically everyone is like a Knight of Wands reversed, with their wands, symbol of their sovereignty, broken. So, the universe kind of shows us, you see, there is more than one way to end the war, and there doesn't necessarily have to be victor and loser, because everyone loses in a war. When the war is really, really karmically ridiculous, we had so many lessons. The psychological warfare, which is really the Third World War playing out with the manipulation and social media and basically people turning other people into walking robots, flesh and blood robots. Now that at least it's modern. At least, there is a fantastic element to it. But to a classic, destructive war, which should be part of the 20th century and not really ours. Anyway, let's see how this continues. Yeah, the Seven of Swords. This does represent that it's not over yet. This does represent that the Seven of Swords, the moon in the sign of Aquarius, can represent how this changed the collective emotion. And the collective emotion can have so very many dimensions. The collective emotion regarding a certain country, the collective emotion about our potential safety for the future, the collective emotion about a certain leader and another leader, and everyone their own leader, how they reacted. A lot has changed, and our mindset is definitely one of them. And this is where the Four of Swords, we might not even be that aware of how much this actually changed our mindset. Maybe it is only now when we react as the person who we are right now to certain situations out there or in our personal lives, everything that comes from us, and we react to it, and then we immediately stop and observe how different we are thinking already, how different we make choices, preferences, options. We might wake up with these small mirrors in life reflecting back to us that we're no longer who we used to be, and perhaps in the best possible way, where we actually smile back to the mirror and not really, stare in horror. We like what we see. And the King of Swords reversed. This is so very suggestive as well, and perhaps this is the biggest message. We can simply not comprehend logically nothing that is going on right now or in the month of April. So, if there was ever a time in life when we have no choice but just to allow our inner naivety, our superstitious, our symbolic mind to guide us the best it can because there is no alternative, well, this time is now. And if we allow this, if we actually allow this to take place and we try our very best, safely, diligently, also in one foot in physical reality, of course, follow this inner guidance, this inner GPS, what it is that the symbolic, the superstitious, the highly intuitive mind is trying to tell us, we might actually be very, very surprised. So we have the Five of Wands and the Six of Cups and the Moon reversed. And this is also so very suggestive because this tells us the Five of Cups with the the Five of Wands with the Six of Cups. The past, that is the symbol of the cup scorpionic energy, because after all, Scorpio is also a water sign, and its most beautiful expression is all the nostalgic, beautiful memories which were part of the past. And these two together tell us that right now, nothing is a competition, nothing is a struggle. We do feel a very strange, the moon reversed, and unusual sense of communion, sense of oneness. We do feel the moon reversed. When the moon is reversed, that usually means that the emotions and the soul and our creational divine energies are not under our control. So if, let's say, if combined with a really doomy and gloomy card with like the let's say Three of Swords, it can mean strong fear. But when it is combined with something rather positive and deeply meaningful, that means that it just stems naturally out of the soul, and we need not fight it, resist it, oppose it, question it. This is where we just feel a strong sense of trust. Trust in the soul, trust that somehow we are birthing a kind of new reality, a kind of future, a kind of new state of existence, and the soul along with that new person who we already metamorphosed ourselves into. Well, this is where the life that is coming for us, and this not in a very magical sense at all, this in a real sense, in a very down-to-earth and physical sense. So the life that is coming for all of us, because we're building it, creating it, birthing it, is gonna feel so very comfortable, so very embracing, that nothing will feel like a struggle. The struggle will be different. The struggle will be trying to, how should I even explain this, get out of our own way to be an even better person, a more compassionate person, to try and see greater beauty in another or in nature, in our job, in anything that we do. So a lot of us, because this moon reversed does represent collective, tumultuous, emotional energy. The moon is pulling this in. And on the 16th of April, we do have a very strong and very, very, how should I say, multi-sided Libra. full moon, but that will be a different topic. I'm just saying that maybe for a lot of us, these energies are gonna come more online around that time. But anyway, this is where we sense that life can be actually comfortable because we birthed it out of us, our essence. And nothing has to be a struggle, nothing has to be about fear, nothing has to be about bad memory. So our perhaps unconscious Scorpio energy, Six of Cups, goal in the future won't be just to survive or be the best or to triumph or Scorpio or get the best mate, but it will simply be to create the most beautiful lived memories that are going to be treasures for all of us. And this is already happening, we're already living this. But first, it is the feeling, Neptune, and Jupiter, the faith, and Venus, the lived experience, and Saturn squaring the nodes of the moon, the physical reality that will reflect it is going to follow. And this is where I have to repeat, there is no supernatural element in these tarot cards. For example, like, I don't know, the magician or the devil twisting and bending reality and stuff like that. This is all simply unconscious projection. For example, when you go to the shop and you want to buy bread, somehow your mind, your body will automatically choose or be alert to the healthiest version for you personally, what your body craves. And if this will happen to you each and every day, that will show. That will definitely show. Or any other small gestures like this. Feeling the need to clean your house more often. Feeling the need to breathe, to like allow, fresh air into your being, into your body more often. Small gestures like this can literally transform everything, including the big things, including like income and anything that might be burdening you. And right now, we're actually getting to see all of this already being part of our reality as we speak. Just that, again, right now, this is much more like fated and karmic, and we cannot experience the more joyful, blissful side of it, and we're a little bit also confused and afraid, to be totally honest. But that is definitely coming. Venus is bringing that. So finally, as a closure, let's see what the universe advises us to do this week, or not to do. Oh, this is so beautiful. The pictures are simply self-explanatory. Keep our balance, keep our serenity. Do not forget the skeletons in our closet as well, but let those skeletons just be like a memorabilia, something that reminds us of something, but the lesson itself is already something beautiful regardless of what had happened. And there is always hope, and there is the profound understanding, the delicate balance between life and death. And Maat, if we embody the wisdom and basically the divine knowledge to always live as light-heartedly as we possibly can, so that our hearts always weigh less than a feather, that we have no true skeletons in the closet, only just memories, then basically every single moment in life is one of enlightenment and hope, lived hope. And the other card is, this is not tarot, so I can't actually name the card what it's named, but the symbols here are also absolutely amazing. The mermaid. And this reminds me of the dwarf planet Salacia, Neptune's wife in the sign of Aries. She is mermaid energy. She is the miracle and the magic of illusion. When the Maya, the devil basically, the illusion, is used in the most divine sense possible to heal, to inspire. This is where a lot of people, the bed, the siren song, are gonna find their soulmates or their romantic mates, so to speak. So this energy is definitely going to provide for us our desires and dreams. Let's just think Jupiter in Pisces, wish fulfillment. But if we make sure that right now, at the time of receiving this energy, our hearts are truly light as a feather, then we have done ourselves the biggest service we could ever possibly dream of. So thank you so much for listening. This concludes today's reading. I wish everyone enough wisdom to just open your heart and embrace this wonderful, miraculous energy, regardless of how you're experiencing it, because I do know that for some people it's very emotionally heavy. But just embrace the sacredness of it, because even suffering, or especially suffering, the Christ, Ishtar, the Buddha, so very many examples, is sacredness itself. So embrace whatever you're living and allow it to rebirth you. If you'd like to support my work, you can donate in the PayPal link in the description below. Wishing everyone a miraculous and wonderful week. Until next time, bye for now.